Now, the next thing I want to show you is how you can do a range name and use a range name in the formula as well. These come up quite a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that 8%. Now, you can either pick one cell or you can highlight multiple cells. First of all, let me zoom out for a second. So I clicked on that one cell. Now follow my mouse and I'm going to click on the name bar up here. And now I can zoom back in. And over there, you type in whatever name that you wanted to, except the name doesn't like spaces for whatever reason. So I'm going to call that tax rate with no spaces. Now you could use an underscore there instead of, but just don't use a space. You could use an underscore if you wanted to. So now I'll hit the enter key. So now that cell that we were on, cell M2, now has the name of tax rate. So we can use that in the formula. So I'm just going to have another sales tax column here. And watch how we'll use that name. We're going to start the formula with the equal sign, of course. And I'll click on the row total for that row, which is J4. And I'll say times tax rate. Now notice when you start to type it in, it'll show up in this list. So you can either type it in or you can double click that. And it knows what that tax rate refers to. It, as you can see, is pointing to that 8%. So I showed you how to name a cell, and then I showed you how to use that cell in a formula. Notice how it says J4 times the tax rate. Now, one benefit of using that is it might be easier to remember the name of the cell than it is to remember the cell reference, especially if that cell is way off to the side somewhere. Another benefit is when I copy that down, I'm just going to get the black cross and drag it down. Each one of those says the word tax rate in that part of the formula, as you can see. So it's like using an absolute reference without having to use the dollar signs. So that was a nice way to do that. So I showed you how to use, how to name a cell using the name box. That also could have been more than one cell, by the way. Then I showed you how to use the name in a formula. And then once you have that, if you copy it down to the rest of the column, the rest of those will use that same name. So it's like using an absolute reference without the dollar signs.